Hello viewers, welcome to Edify Path. I am Ravi Kiran Raju, your mentor for Adobe Photoshop. I have trained so many students in the field of architecture, interior designing and graphic designing. I have worked in this field from 15 years and I have trained so many thousands of people. Now, today we are going to learn about Photoshop. I will give you a brief introduction of Photoshop. This is a simple and a beautiful software in graphic industry. Photoshop is used in every industry like construction, architecture, interiors, graphics, entertainment. Photoshop is widely used in every industry since 20 years. It is most beautiful and advanced, most sophisticated, built with cutting-edge technology. Today, we will have a brief introduction about Photoshop. This is the workflow of the CGI project and even VFX project. CGI means computer generated graphics. What you are seeing on the screen is the pipeline of the entire VFX project. So these are the different softwares used in the VFX industry. For example, you can see there are like modeling. So any project, we don't directly give the output. We have like storyboard, concept, script, and that is one level. And the next level is modeling, where you build all the models of the characters, ambience and other things, even sets, properties. Coming to the third level, we have 3D animation and then we go to editing and all. For now, let us discuss where Photoshop stands. For example, if there is a project which came to you, so first you need to prepare a storyboard, then later on it goes to the next level where you build 3D models and characters and everything, where all those characters are made in such software like Mudbox, ZBrush, CAD, Revit and SketchUp. So from there it goes to a rendering engine like 3ds Max, Maya, Blender, Houdini, Cinema 4D and Rhino. All these are like 3D softwares with render engines, where I'll tell you what is rendering and other things in the next session. For now, let us take Photoshop. Here if you see, you have CorelDRAW, Illustrator and Photoshop. Photoshop is an image based software. Here from Photoshop, we give output to other softwares like After Effects, like Premiere. We send it to editing. So from Photoshop, the output is sent to After Effects or Premiere. Photoshop is an interactive software and Photoshop is linked or related, or you can connect to many other softwares like 3ds Max, Maya, Blender, Houdini, Cinema 4D and Rhino. Even like you can connect Photoshop software to AutoCAD, Revit, even SketchUp. From Photoshop, the files are sent to After Effects or Premiere. From Premiere, and the output is rendered. Output means the final output. You can call it as you can say it as a cartoon. It can be a cartoon output. It can be a documentary output. You can say it as like it is an ad film output, a short film output, or an entire film, entire movie what you see in theaters. So Photoshop is like a basic software like everyone and anyone can learn. So this is the entire pipeline for where Photoshop stands. You can understand like if you are a starter, if you don't have any knowledge in softwares, so by looking at this flowchart, you can understand what Photoshop is, where Photoshop stands. Photoshop is a raster image based software. That means it is like a photo editing software. Now moving on to the next slide. This is the topic about social media, where we can use this Photoshop software. Who need to learn this software? I say like every person in this generation, in today's generation, everyone has a need to learn Photoshop, because today social media is at fullest potential, where everyone posts hundreds, even thousands and lakhs of posts every day. In the entire world, there are like millions of posts posted every day. So who are editing all those photographs? Who are editing all those images? We, like you and like me. We graphic designers use this Photoshop software to edit the colors, to edit the photographs, images, structures, logos, and so many other things. Now if we are talking about social media, we have so many applications like Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and so many other things, even WhatsApp. For every occasion or any festival or anything or any event, people post so many photographs like wedding invitations, event invitation, birthday wishes, festivals. There are so many things happening in the entire world. So people are creating wedding cards, invitations, wishes, like so many other things, greeting cards, and they're posting in social media. Social media is today the face of your personality. Without social media, there is no identity. Now, Photoshop plays a major role in creating your identity. It is creating your brand. It is creating your personality. So, Photoshop plays a major role in social media. Now, moving on to the next slide, let's see. If you see the image here, this is before and this is after. So, what is the difference you can see here? There is like completely a beautiful grading on this image. You can see a cityscape, and if you see there is a door and a window, now it is not there, and you can see the final output. This is like before and this is after. This looks like a professional editing. This looks like a professional output with a brilliant colors and a beautiful composition. Now here, like Photoshop plays a beautiful role, like before and after. Like it helps you to compose any image. Like if you see the image on the right side, you can see a bottle inside the water. Now, a beautiful composition of graphics. You can see a beautiful house and a beautiful landscape inside the bottle with nice clouds and a beautiful lighting. So this is creativity. This is imagination. This is composing an image. This is like beautifully edited with some nice colors. So now moving to the next slide, you can see a beautiful landscape, a girl, and with so many butterflies. Here you don't have any butterflies in the real photograph. We have added all these butterflies. So Photoshop gives wings, as I said, wings to your creativity. Like this, you can see there are like n number of butterflies making this photograph more beautiful. It's like a dreamy photograph. So every person in their mind, they get so many dreams. There are like so many dreamers in this world. Now, if you see in this slide, you have two images. This is the image which is on the left side is before editing. The image which is on the right side is after editing. You can see it is beautifully color graded with nice leaves, with nice lighting and everything. So who gives this idea? How will you know how to edit and all? So before starting any editing, you have to plan it first. So you need to have a basic idea like what you are going to edit, how you are going to edit your image, with what kind of colors, and everything has to be planned before only. Now you can see this image. It is nicely blurred. You can see nice color grading, nice tones and everything. So you have something called pre-production, where you can like put all your ideas and represent your thoughts into picture. Now if you see here, you have a girl and a small baby kissing. Now here in the left image, you cannot see any leaves or anything. Here you can put even butterflies, you can put even flowers, you can put anything. But this artist, what he or she have decided to put leaves with beautiful lighting. So before editing any image, you need to have a clear understanding what you are going to do. You need to plan first, then only you can execute at your full potential. So coming to the next slide, we have an interesting composition. You can see before. Here, this is a raw image where a girl is catching a nice leaf. You can see here the ground is with gravel and all. So if you see after editing, this image has become more beautiful. You can see nice raindrops with fully blurred background, and even the ground is changed with improvised color. You can see the before color is different and the after color is different. So you need to plan first, then only you will get the best output. So this is one of the interesting composition done by an artist using Photoshop. So even you can use this Photoshop tool to edit any image. There is nothing you cannot do in Photoshop. Any graphic design, anything you have imagined, dreamt of, you can do it in Photoshop. Moving on to the next slide, you can see this photograph. Like, it's a wedding photography. We are talking about wedding photography. Wedding industry is a booming industry from hundreds of years, and even in next 100 of years, it is like evergreen industry. In wedding industry, we use Photoshop like every day. Like every photo is edited and printed as album. Like every couple wanted their marriage to be a memory for 100 years, even more. So in wedding industry, like there are like so many artists like who do Photoshop every day, like who compose, who edit all these photographs, and like even do digital makeup. They add text, add graphics, and they do so much stuff using Photoshop. So if you see the next slide, here you can understand like what is the difference before using Photoshop and after using Photoshop. You can see in the left picture, like you can see entire landscape. So sometimes if you want your photographs to look more professional, you need to make the audience feel like they have used some expensive lenses. So sometimes the photographer may not have the expensive lens. In that case, we can use Photoshop and we can blur the background. If you see the right image, like if I show this right image to any audience or any person, any viewer, like he'll say this photograph is captured by a professional photographer using a high-end lens. That's why the background is completely blurred. But that is not the case, right? The artist, the Photoshop editor has edited a raw image into a beautiful composed composition. He has blurred, he has added some nice color, he has like edited beautifully. If you see the left image, the faces and like the image is little blur. There is not much clarity. In the right image, there is sharpness. Sharpness means adding clarity to every pixel. So Photoshop plays a very important role in a photographer's life. So it is a great tool if you are a photographer and you cannot skip Photoshop. It is a must tool to learn, to understand, to practice, to be a master at Photoshop. So let us move to other industries, like where they are using Photoshop. Now if you see this slide, you can see a beautiful logo which is in the front wall of a company. Medicine industry, health industry, pharmaceuticals, like all these industries are also using Photoshop. Now if you see this bottle and this bottle cover, you can see there is so much text, logos, so many colors, papers, stickers, and so many things. Like who designed it? Graphic designer, artist who is using Photoshop. Like there are like multiple products, millions of products in medicine, health, pharmaceutical industries. All these products have logos, text, MRPs, rate cards, precautions, and so many other things. All these are guided and used, designed by Photoshop editors. If you are a Photoshop user, editor, like you have multiple options. You can use your skills in any industry, even in pharmaceuticals, medical, medicine, any industry. Now let us move on to the next slide. Branding. Every product has a logo. Every product is a brand. Every brand has a value. In market, if you want to survive, you need an identity. So who is giving you the identity? Graphic designer, with logo, with color, with everything. Now if you see, you can see multiple logos here, like huge number of brands. You can see Apple. So anyone, a buyer like who is going to market, if he is recognizing the logo, that means you have a great brand value. So who is deciding the brand value? Who is creating the brand value? The graphic designer, the CG artist. Now, based on the logo, graphic designers are paid very high. For example, you can see the Audi logo here. Like in Indian market or in any international market, like for all these like branded logos are like those graphic designers are paid very high. Their payments are in lakhs for a single small logo. Now you can see like McD logo, you can see like this is a Safari logo, Pepsi logo, like all these logos are designed by like artists, like graphic designers and all, using Photoshop. Logo plays a very important role in any company, in any industry. The logo is the face of the company. Logo is a brand. If you have a brand value, your industry is going to be successful. In the market, this brand plays a major and very important role. So you need to increase the value of the product by logo. If you have a beautiful standard logo, then you are representing a company. Now moving on to the next slide, we shall see few more logos. If you see, there are like many international brands with different logos. For example, you can see BMW logo with a black color, blue color and a white color. So to design a logo, the artist have to understand little bit of, he should have knowledge on colors, geometry. He should have basic understand how a geometry works, like what kind of colors are giving impact on the psychology of the audience or the viewers. So you can see the logo of Mercedes-Benz. This is one of the most expensive logo in the market, in the automobile industry. From past many decades, like there are like so many people on this earth, they just by looking at the logo, they understand this is Benz. So that kind of market value like has increased by this logo. So you can see like there are many other logos, even Coca-Cola, even Microsoft, like Samsung, all these are like very popular logos on the planet. So who is designing these logos? We the graphic designers. Like how they are designing it? By using Photoshop. So like even using Photoshop, at least to design all these logos, you need to sketch them, you need to prepare a small concept, you need to sketch on a paper like with basic, like with pen and paper or like even pencil. So like before designing any logo, you need to have a understanding about these colors, text, geometry. So for example, why do we use red color? To attract more people, because in a busy street, like there are like so many people moving around. So to attract the attention of the public, the people, if we are using red color is a more attractive color. It attracts the attention of anyone. So for example, if you see here Coca-Cola, so for example, it is a summer, like some guy is walking on the street and he's feeling very thirsty, but he's not in the mood to go and grab a Coca-Cola drink, but while moving, because the brand is in the red color, because the logo is in the red color, so it just attracts the person. Then immediately like he might get a thought to go and grab the Coke and just drink it. So the logo or the color or the geometry plays a very important role in the brand, in creating a value to the brand. So So all the designers, they have to have a clear picture of clear understanding of geometry, colors and all these things. So let us move to next slide. Movies. Who doesn't love movies? We all, entire globe watch movies and we all love movies. My question is to you, how do you watch a film? Or like how do you enter into a film theater? Or how do you click play button on Amazon Prime or on Netflix? How do you do it? By looking at the poster. If you like the poster, you just click the play button on Amazon Prime or even Netflix. Or if you are going to a theater, how do you enter the theater? By looking at the movie poster. If you like the movie poster, you enter into the theater to watch a film. Now, movies are one of the biggest industries. Movie industry is a very important industry in our society. Like it does like thousand crores of business in our market. For example, let's take Infinity Avengers Endgame. It has like grossed around 14,000 crore rupees in Indian currency. Like, why did you go to that film? Because you like the movie poster, then you enter the theater, then you like the movie, then second part. So it all how it works. So if you are a graphic designer and movies, getting into movie business is one of the best idea. And movie industry is like full of creativity, full of high energy with great vibe. So if you are a movie buff or a movie freak, like getting into movie poster designers is one of the most smartest thing, most smart idea. Now if you see this poster, like you can find a difference. Johnny Depp and we have added a composition. So now you can see nice smoke with nice text, you can see a nice logo, and you can see the release date, day, production company name and everything. So before designing a movie poster, like you need to design a concept, you need to have a storyboard. There are like different stages in creating a film, creating a movie poster. So Photoshop is that great tool which is doing all this job. If you are a master at Photoshop, there is nothing you cannot design. Like you can be a master in designing movie posters. Movie posters plays a very important role in movie industry. Now movie industry, they are like spending crores of money in making a film. And that for example, let us take a film of Bahubali. Like it is made with hundreds of crores and it has collected thousands of crores. For that, you tell me like how a movie poster played an important role. Like we all love the poster, then we went to the film, then into theaters and all it happened. So now next move on to the next slide. Now here you can see the difference between like before the movie poster. I mean, this is the left image. What you are watching is the raw image shot by a photographer, and the right side image is the one. This is the output. This is the this is after post production. Now you tell me what is the difference. You can see the eyes. Eyes are like completely colored. You cannot see the eyeballs. You can see the raindrops are increased. You can see the color grading. You can see the horror effect. You can see even the text, font, and even like everything. Like you can see like who is presenting it, who is directing it, who is editing, who has done the special effects and everything. So here if you observe, this is the raw image which is not scary, which is very simple, which is just a still photograph. But if you see the right side image, now it has become a film poster, a movie poster, which looks very scary, which is very scary and which is creating a horror effect. By looking at the film poster, you can just tell it is a horror film. Now if you are a movie freak, again if you love horror films, so you just go to theater or you just click the play button on Netflix or Amazon Prime. So my conclusion on movie posters is, if you are a very creative person, if you love films, if you're having like endless creative thoughts, then Photoshop is the greatest tool to master it and enter the film industry. If you like there are so many people who constantly ask me, what is the shortcut to get into film industry? Photoshop. Without any doubt, I can just tell you, like, learning Photoshop, designing the posters and getting into films is the most smartest way to get into film industry. Fashion. We all wear designer clothes. We all wear different costumes. Now, if you see this slide, you can see that there are like so many models with the different kind of dresses and all. Like textile industry. This is one of the important industry in our society, which is like $1 million industry, $1 billion industry, with so much business, so much trade happening every day, every minute, even every second. Even on this second, someone is buying clothes at some part of the world. Now, who is designing all these clothes? Who is designing all these costumes? We, graphic designers. There are like n number of patterns on these clothes. There are like so many designs. For example, if we are going to a shopping mall, we get attracted by looking at a poster with some nice model, with branded clothes, with some nice colors, nice patterns. So who is designing all these fabrics? We, graphic designers. So by looking at all these models, we enter into a store, then we pick up nice top, nice jeans, skirt, or like anything. Like, why? Because we liked it. It is like everyday need. Every day we need to wear some clothes. Based on your clothes, you will be respected in the society. Now, who is designing all these clothes? We are graphic designers. So this is $1 million industry. Like, we graphic designers, like, we use Photoshop tool to design all these clothes every day. So if you want to get into fashion designer, or you are a fashion student who want to practice all this styling and everything, now Photoshop is that tool which you need to learn. With this tool, you can create n number of possibilities, opportunities, and so many things. To grow, you need Photoshop. Now, moving on to the next slide, let us see the other possibilities, what you can do with Photoshop. Jewelry. Now you tell me, who doesn't like diamonds, gold? Like, this is an asset. Diamonds and gold is an asset. It is a property. It has great value in the market. Now it is like very expensive. Gold and diamonds are like very expensive in today's generation. So like, we all want to buy greatest designs, marvels. So like, who is designing it? Again and again and again. The one who is master at Photoshop is like jack of all trades. Once if you master how to design, how to use Photoshop, you can get into any industry. You can get into any industry, even jewelry industry, fashion industry, even into interiors, even branding industry. Like, there are like endless possibilities. Now if you see on the right side, you can see a sketch of the jewelry. It is a beautiful design created by the artist. Now if you have a question that if you are an artist, like, do you have to compulsory learn Photoshop? No. But if you want to sustain a very long time in this industry, yes, you have to learn. If you are the artist who has very good sketching talent, and if you also have Photoshop, if you also master at Photoshop, that will get you great opportunities, that will get you great deals. Now if you see, it is a basic sketch done by an artist and it is improvised, it is detailed. Again, you can see the final output which is done in Photoshop. You can see all these diamonds, and if you see this image, it is nicely composed. Here you have a paper with nice sketch. Again, there is a 3D model here, again one more 3D model here with nice shades and shadows. Again you can see a jewel here, again you can see few diamonds here. It is a beautiful image composed in Photoshop. Even this entire slide is composed in Photoshop. So in today's generation, in today's jewelry industry, like Photoshop has become a major tool in designing this jewelry. So all the viewers, all the learners, my suggestion, if you want to get into jewelry industry, Photoshop is must. It is compulsory. It is mandatory. Yes, software design development. Now, is Photoshop only for artists? Is only Photoshop for photographers? Is only Photoshop for wedding industry? No, it has endless possibilities. It is for everyone. Now, even for software engineers. Now, if you see this slide, you can see different colors with different geometry, and it is telling like stage 1, stage 2, stage 3 and everything. So in software development design, even if you are a software designer, if you are developing a software, you can use Photoshop as a great tool of communication. For example, if you are designing a software, design stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, for example, stage 1 planning, analysis, stage 2, design stage 3, implementation stage 4. So you have a different stages in developing a software. Using Photoshop, you can keep a track record of all this development. You can use Photoshop to create all these slides, images. You can collaborate with all the other people. You can communicate. You can express your ideas. It is a great tool of communication. For example, if you are a software developer and you have created a nice software and I am installing a software. So while installing it, I can see a window popping out, and on that I can see a loading bar, like it says installing, and it has a beautiful picture in the background which has the software name, product, brand, license number and all. Like all those images are again created in Photoshop. Okay, let's go into more depth. Now, if I take a software, if I'm extracting it, if I am going inside the box or inside the window, I can see a separate folder which is named as images, and if I see those images, I can see there are like multiple hundreds of images created in Photoshop. Like this software loads all those images. All these images are very important in any software, in creating any software. So now using Photoshop, we can create all these images in software development design. You can even like create logos again. We are using Photoshop as a major tool in software industry, in IT, and it is a must important tool for any software engineer to learn to use as a greatest tool of communication. It is a great tool, like we can express your ideas, you can even like maintain a team, you can keep a great track record using this tool. So if you are a software engineer, I suggest you, without any second thought, learn Photoshop. Now moving on to the next slide. If you observe this slide, you can see a beautiful web pages, and now we are talking about web designing. So many people ask me, can we create websites using Photoshop? Yes, we can create, but it is a very basic website with a image. It is going to be a image based website. For example, we have so many important softwares like Dreamweaver, and even like in InDesign. Those are the softwares where we dedicatedly use for web designing and other things. But in Photoshop, we also can create websites, but not so professional. Using Photoshop, we can create only a basic level of websites. For example, let us see this slide. Now on the left side you can see a basic web design, even on the right side you can see a basic web design. Now look at this slide and you have like basic web designs. Like these are like very simple web designs which are created in Photoshop. All these buttons are images. These are linked to different web pages. You can see this monitor, you can see this blue color circles, and all these are like images. So using Photoshop you can design a basic websites. So this is Photoshop plays a very important role in web designing industry, in web creation and all. So to maintain a website or to have a professional website, even this Photoshop can help you so much. So if you want to be a great master in designing websites, Photoshop is a must tool to learn. Digital makeup. Now if you see this image, you have before and after image, before editing and after editing. Now look at the left image, you can see there are like so many black spots. You can see the skin is very rough. If you see the same image after editing, you can see that there are no spots, the skin is very clean and clear. So like using Photoshop, like you can remove all these pimple marks, black spots, you can color and you can correct entire skin and everything. It can make you very beautiful. So digital makeup is like very important in film industry, in fashion industry, even in modeling and in other industries also, even in wedding industry. So we use Photoshop for skin coloring, even for like black spot removals. So Photoshop is a major tool to do this. So digital makeup is like very important in movie industry as well. You like after when you look at the great actress or heroes or like all these celebrities, like when you see them, you can see like they have a beautiful skin, they have like beautiful faces with glowing faces with nice colors. So like who is doing all this? Like we graphic designers, like who is the master of Photoshop. Even if you look at the movie posters, you can see all the actors or like all the celebrities, stars are like very good, glowing, very beautiful. Like so we can do all such nice digital makeup using Photoshop. So I hope you are like very clear and you understood like what is digital makeup, and like you can see the greatest transformation in the left and right slide. In the left picture, like you can see the raw, rough image with so many spots. You can see the rough skin. If you see the right image, it is very clean, glowing, which is like entirely like so much beautiful. So now moving on to the next slide. This is before editing and this is after editing. So you can see like there is so much difference before editing and after editing. The rain is added, you can see the ocean, you can see the bird, you can see a sword also. So like this is done in a studio using basic lighting with nice costumes, with nice posture and composition, and it is done on a bare ground, on a bare floor. Now if you see on the right side image, you can see ocean, you can see raindrops, you can see beautiful lighting and everything. So like this is the composition. Like this level of creativity is needed to survive in today's market. So like let's move on to the next slide. You can see again you can see the level of creativity here. Like the artist has added a butterfly and some stars and even a light. So like in VFX and CGI industry, the Photoshop is a major tool. For example, if you take Avatar film, you must have seen there are like so many creatures with so many different patterns of skin, so many forms. So all those textures, all those images are edited in Photoshop. For example, there is a dragon scene in Game of Thrones. The entire dragon model is designed in a 3D software and the skin texture is designed in Photoshop. Not only like all these 3D skin textures, like there are so many other things. For example, if you take a costume of a 3D model, the entire 3D model is built in 3ds Max or Maya, but its skin, but its designs, but its fabric is again designed in Photoshop. So Photoshop is a major tool in VFX industry to create all these beautiful images. Magazines. In this slide, you can see like huge number of magazines. There are like million copies sold every moment in this planet. On this globe, magazines play a very important role in trade, in cinema, in film industries. Like it is like a very important industry in our society. Now, to grab the attention of the readers, like the graphic designer plays a very important role. He has to design a very attractive cover page. For example, if you see the image on the right side, what does this cover convey? It belongs to architecture and interiors. You can see the composition. You can see a beautiful font with green color. You can see the text. You can see all this, and it is also a beautiful photograph captured by a photographer. So graphic designer has to understand how to grab the attention of masses and readers. He should have the understanding like how to sell this magazine, like how can this cover page attract all the readers. Magazines, print media, news are like very important. It can change the government. It can give you a sensational news. It can do anything. It can bring a groundbreaking change in our society. So for all these magazines, the graphic designer has to be, or like he is playing a very important role in designing all these magazines. Like he is playing a key role in designing all these covers. For example, if you see the cover on the left side, like it is a beautiful cover page with a nice color. It's a very attractive color, which is red. The entire composition is in red and white. You can see even black. So the graphic designer has to master Photoshop. He should also have the sense of colors, composition. He should have knowledge about fonts, text, what kind of font he has to use on these images. So in print media, even in magazines, news, journalist, for all these people, graphic designer is a very important person who is playing a major role in this industry. Now if you see this slide, you can see two nice cover pages of magazines. You can see both stars, celebrities who are giving nice poses. So now the graphic designer here, he should have nice understanding about how a cover page should be. Like these both cover pages are like nicely composed with nice text, color, composition. So the graphic designer again plays a very major important role in designing all these magazine covers. So graphic designers have great opportunities in the field of journalism, print media, news. So if you are a master at Photoshop, like you can enter into any industry, even in magazine cover designing and all this. So now let's move on to the next slide. So here, like you can see before and after. So before designing the cover page, like there is only a raw photograph of the model, and after designing the cover page, now you can see text, beautiful colors and everything. So like the graphic designer should have a great sense to design a cover page, how to attract the crowd, how to attract the readers and viewers. So graphic designer can be a groundbreaking personality in the field of journalism, print media. Now you can see a beautiful brochure. You can see by looking at this slide, you can understand it belongs to construction industry. Now in construction, real estate, interiors, like you must have watched like or seen like so many brochures. Without brochure, it is very difficult to sell any property in the field of construction. And in real estate, the entire business happens only with brochures. So by using Photoshop, you can create nice, beautiful brochures. And I wanted to tell one fact about construction industry. Construction is a very rich industry. Construction industry has so much money, wealth, and it is like a top-notch industry in the world. So in construction industry, the graphic designer plays a very, very important role, like in designing brochures, in designing website, in designing news, logos, brands, so many other things. Construction is an evergreen industry, like which makes $1 trillion of money. There are companies whose turnover is in trillion dollars. So my suggestion, or like my friendly advice to viewers, audience, like there are like endless opportunities in construction industry. If you are master in Photoshop, if you are even if you have a basic knowledge in Photoshop, you can directly enter into construction industry and grab the job, and you can earn, like it can be your dream job. You can earn like endlessly, like you have so many opportunities, endless possibilities in construction industry. So now if you look at this slide, you can see different type of image formats. Now we are talking about image formats. Now if you see here, PSD, Photoshop document. So by using Photoshop, we will be exporting those images into different formats, like PDF. PDF is one format, GIF, this is one format, PNG is one more format. Like in video you have MP4 format, MPEG format, for audio you have MP3 format. Even for images we have different formats. So these are only a different type of formats. I just wanted to give a general idea. So now let's go to the next slide and understand what are the different type of formats. JPEG, its full form is like Joint Photographic Expert Group. It is a format designed by a company. GIF, graphical interchange format, it is majorly used in web designing. PNG format, this comes with a transparent background. So this is called portable network graphics. So like while we are learning Photoshop more deeply, we'll also be learning all these image formats. TIFF is majorly used to like preserve the originality and colors and so many other things. So BMP, this is also like we use so much. Bitmap is a commonly used image format, like everywhere, like in any industry. So like whenever you save all these images or documents, you get to see like in the end or in the file properties, you can see like .png, .jpeg, .pdf. So all these are like extensions of files. So we'll also discuss, like we have like detailed session about giving or like saving those images or exporting those images. So we have a separate session about these formats. So Photoshop is a tool which comes with .psd format, Photoshop document format. From then we export those images or documents into many other formats like .pdf, .png, .tiff, and all these files are used again in different softwares like After Effects, like Premiere, 3ds Max, Revit, Maya, and like they're like, this is endless. Photoshop is like a ocean. Like the more you learn, the higher knowledge you get. So like so many people are asking me like what is the minimum basic requirement of a computer, or like what should be the configuration to use Photoshop. So in today's market, like any computer like is good to go with Photoshop, because like in today's generation the computers are coming like minimum with 64-bit, minimum with 16 GB RAM, minimum with 250 GB hard disk, so and minimum with a decent graphic card. So Like while you are training, if you are a starter, like any system is good to go with Photoshop. You can use, you can edit all small pictures, you can do minimum composition. So you don't have to worry much about the Photoshop or the system. But if you want to use Photoshop application in mobile phone, then it is going to be tough. Photoshop is a software you need to use more on desktop rather than on mobile phones. So after you get trained and you become more professional and you master Photoshop, and if you are doing bigger files, if you are composing or editing much bigger files, then you need to have higher graphic card and higher RAM. If you are editing bigger files, if you are doing a big works, if you are composing big documents, then you need higher graphic card and higher RAM. So in today's generation, you don't have to worry about computer or anything, because like every computer is coming with manufactured with decent configuration. So my suggestion, like if you want to become a great professional in graphic industry, if you want to become a great artist, then I suggest you, the much higher graphic card you have, the great computer you have, you will become more professional, the work becomes more easier. We have discussed so much, we have shared so much knowledge about Photoshop and other industries. We have discussed about web designing, jewelry, even fashion industry, media, VFX, news, journalism, magazines. We have discussed so much in detail. Okay guys, thank you so much for being wonderful. We will stay connected in this entire graphic designing journey. Thank you.